Hey guys, what's up? It's Falseballs123 and welcome back to my channel. Now you've probably noticed a few things. One, my setup's different. I'm using a webcam. This is on OBS. I have my microphone for all our ASMR listeners out there. And yes, I am now like a sexy blonde. Hello, Marilyn. Bitch, we don't know her. But I thought it would be really funny. I thought what would be really fun is if we did my mid-year freakout book tag. Now, real talk, here's what's up. I haven't really been reading a lot. I've been in a really bad reading slump the last 2 months, and so I'm trying to get back into reading. I'm trying to do more of that. So, I just haven't really been reading the same way that I have, like I was last year. So instead of reading a lot of new books and a lot of random books, I've been reading a lot of what's been on my bookshelves, so I just don't really have the same type of, opinions to draw from like I did last year. But I'm just going to fuck around with this. We are going to sort of just spitball it, have fun, and just not really give a shit, Low-key, low energy, mid-year book tag. So the first question for our mid-year book tag is, best book I've read so far in 2021. And this was a little difficult, but I chose Major Conflict by Jeffrey McGowan. And if you've listened to my podcast, the Spaghetti Emotion podcast I do for my best friend Seaweed, then you've probably heard me mention it. But Major Conflict is the story of one gay man's life in the military. I liked it for a lot of reasons. I thought it was really emotional. It was a very just heartbreaking memoir in a lot of places. And there's a lot of themes about masculinity and sexual orientation and what it's like to be in the military as someone who's stereotypically seen as effeminate, and how that really affected him as a person growing up and living his life, and a lot of the pain and internalized homophobia that he had to fight through to become who he was today. And I just thought it was a really great book in that regards. I also like it because I feel a lot of times when we're discussing queer representation, specifically gay and bisexual men, we tend not to discuss how gender expression intersects with their identity. I think there is obviously always going to be some discussion between the sort of femme and butch lesbians, but we always tend to sort of marginalize male gender expression along sexual orientation in a way that is just as egregious. And so that's probably one of the best books I've read. I'm just like, dang, honey, we got the intersectionality, we got the discussion, I do love, memoirs that are just like, hey, you want to cry a little? And I'm just like, no, but I guess that's what we're going to do today, honey. So let's move on, and we got best sequel you've read so far in 2021. Now, here's the thing. I don't read sequels ever. It's I'm very much a one-off type guy, and I'm not into a lot of book series. So very rarely am I reading a sequel. However, I did read 11 Kids, One Summer, Anne M. Martin, I think. Editing Ryan will help me out there. And here's what it's about. Basically, it's the sequel to a book called 10 Kids, No Pets. Never read it, never even, seen it in person, but it exists apparently. But in this one, they all go on summer vacation, and each chapter is from the perspective of one of the 11 kids. And I discussed it a bunch in a previous wrap-up, don't remember which one. It's very well done. I like how Martin writes between all of these different children's ages and perspectives. I liked how there was these B-plots that went from story to story based on the way that she sort of presented it. I liked how the entire book was set over one summer, so as an anthology, as a sequel, it was just fantastically done. Moving on. Let's see, a new release that you haven't read this year, but want to. I'm going to go with One Last Stop by Casey McCurston. I don't know how to pronounce their name. Anyway, basically, here's what I know. You got lesbians, you got time travel, and apparently you have subway stations or something. All of this is a yes from me, dog. I remember reading Red, White, and Royal Blue, and it was, first, hot as shit. Second, really kind of funny. And third, it was just a wholesome time with the gays. And I'm just like, if you want to do that again, McCurston, but you're going to give me time-traveling lesbians, that is my shit. let's move on. Number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So, I released a 2021 book releases video, and it turns out the only one that hasn't come out yet is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I read, My Best Friend's Exorcism last year for Summerween, which apparently is going on now. Bitches did not know about it because last time it was set in August, so I was, waiting, but fuck my life then. So basically, it's what it says on the tin. You got a final girl, she's in a support group of other final girls, and it just seems like a really nice and, cutesy homage to the slasher genre. And ooh honey, that's my shit. I was literally just talking about Kate Siegel in the movie Hush, and I'm just like, more of that please? Yes, deconstruct that bitch all over. Let's move on because I am terrible at talking about releases, and let's get into some fun shit. Let's see, so biggest disappointment would have to be, do I have it with me? Yes, The Oxbow Incident by Walter von Tilburg Clark, which is a lot of a name, It isn't Pablo Picasso levels of name, but but it's a lot. And mostly I'm going to get more into it in my next wrap-up. There were just some issues with the pacing, some issues with sort of these, let's call it racial insensitivities in historical fiction, and it just wasn't as good of a time as I liked. I'm going to have a more nuanced review of this in the future, but this is really the only book I found kind of disappointing when I read it. Biggest surprise, and do I have that book as well? I might. Let me check. Yes, I do. And that is Santa Paws by Nicholas Edwards. So Santa Paws is a middle grade, around there, book about a puppy at Christmas, and it was surprisingly nuanced and really well written. And I'm just like, okay, I can fuck with this. And when I read a lot of middle grade, I often don't get as much depth as I would enjoy, which, wow, Ryan, are you telling me that books written for children aren't into super deep themes and, hurting their characters? You don't see Thomas Hardy writing a children's book, Ryan, do you? But you know what I mean. And so Santa Paws was something that actually had a lot of meat to its bone in terms of criticism and review and all that other shit. So I actually really liked it. I thought it was a wholesome time. I thought it was a good read. Definitely a book that I'm just like, okay, I can fuck with this. Favorite new author, and I can't really say I have one this year, mostly just because I've been rereading a lot of old books. So I can't really see that any of these books I've read are new authors. So, yeah. Newest favorite character, and I'm trying to think, do I really have one? And once again, it's been a lot of rereads. I've read maybe 2 or 3 books that have been new to me this year. And so, not really. I don't really connect with favorite characters in books that much. That's not really something that I do a lot, I like books' protagonists. I think, okay, they're cool. I can fuck with them while I'm reading the story, but outside of a story, unless I really, really love a book, I don't really connect with characters that much. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Sometimes there is a character that I just absolutely love and live for. I think last year it was Such a Fun Age. I really love the main protagonist from that. This year it's just been, you in a story, boo. That's just what's happening. Next up is we're going to get into emotions, and damn bitch, I have so many of those. I just have a difficult time processing them without, having just some sort of buffer. But that's not the point, sis. What are you, my therapist? No, you're not. 10. Books that made you cry. Sad face. I'm going to put Death of a Salesman. That ending kind of just fucked me up. And Major Conflict made me cry so badly that I had to put the book down. Literally, I was just reading some shit. It hit a note, and I sobbed like a little baby bitch in my bed for a good 20 minutes. It was just cathartic, maybe, or just deeply painful. One of the two. Number 11, book that made me happy. See, that's a hard question. I genuinely wish that there was a book this year that has made me happy to read it. I think last year I had, a definitive answer. I think I did say Red, White, and Royal Blue for the reasons I stated above. But this year, I just really haven't had much joy. We started out with a lockdown. My mother has passed away, which I think I've mentioned on this channel. And just in the previous, last couple of months, I've just been dealing with a lot of stress in a lot of different ways. And so I can't really say that I've gotten a lot of joy out of reading. Mostly just because of the things I've been reading and just because of how I've been emotionally last couple months. That's one of the reasons why I just haven't really been uploading. It's just been difficult. But I think reading is something that does, at least part of my inner child, or however you want to phrase it, it does make me happy. And there is definite joy that I've gotten out of anticipating reading books and wanting to read books in the future and that type of thing. But for this year, I just haven't really been connecting a lot with that emotion in particular. And that's okay. I think a lot of times we put too much of an emphasis on happiness as a distinct emotion. And I think that as an adult, I have to measure that I'm not always going to be happy. That happy isn't always the perfect emotional state to be in. It's nice to feel happy, but it's not always something that I can achieve. And I think, in an ironic sense, I'll be happier if I don't always try to make myself feel like I have to be happy. So, moving on. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. Give me a fucking minute, bitch. Okay. First up, we got Pieometry by Bitch You Know It, Loco Kitchen. If you don't know who that is because you aren't, into pies, wow. You don't like pies? You don't follow Pie Instagram? You're not on Piestagram? Who even are you? So, Lauren Coe runs an Instagram page called Loco Kitchen, and she's kind of known for her really distinct, just geometrical, vibrant tart designs. Literally, bitches put in A+ stars on presentation every freaking time. And here's the thing. Personally, my own personal opinion, I dislike asymmetrical plating, especially for something when you're serving it. Mostly just because I feel that if you're serving something for multiple people, having asymmetrical plating is going to be kind of unfair for the user experience. However, as a work of art, I do love Loco Kitchen's designs. I'm going to try to see if I can find some of the pictures in here to give you an idea. So, as you can see, she has these really insane geometrical patterns for all of her pies. And it is such an inspiration, and I'm going to really love to actually be able to dive into this. Because she has a lot of discussions on using different pie crusts, on using different types of things like curds, which is one of the main ways that she makes such vibrant designs, by having such a hard set filling, which, ooh. And I'm starting to realize that I'm being a nerd about this, and you probably do not care about pie design. So, it's pretty and geometric and shiny, and I love it. I got this for Christmas. Thanks, Dad. Next up is What the Hell Did I Just Read? By David Wong. And apparently, this is either the third or second book in the series. The other two is John Dies at the End, which I think they made into a movie. And this book is full of spiders, which, mood. Rules to live by. I just really love this dust jacket. So hopefully you enjoyed me answering those questions. I know they weren't that great, but I just wanted to do something a bit shorter, something kind of fun and easy. Mostly it's because I've been putting a lot of stress to make these really complicated video designs, and a lot of times I just don't have the energy for that. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Let me know what your answers are. If you've watched this video, you are so fucking tagged. Yes, you is. Go make one of these videos. Tell me about it, and I will like, comment, and if you make good content, I will subscribe. I'm just saying. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I want to keep this short. Just remember, wash your hands, tell your loved ones you love them, and live every single day trying to be a better and better person. This is False Balls 123, and you guessed it, I'm signing off.